Hello everyone and welcome to today's show with sportsbookreview.com. I'm your host Lee Martin, joined today with David Manyun. We're going to break down the whole main card for UFC 250, Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer. But again, before we get into any UFC talk, go ahead, give us a like and subscribe to our channel. That way you never miss a show. Now let's get to it. How are you doing today, Dave?
I'm great, Lee. Thank you. Another UFC event. Everyone best get used to this because it's going to be the same every midweek. You're going to see a video from us, and then you're going to see a video from us again on Friday, probably for the next 8 to 9 weeks.
Yep.
I'm pumped. I love this card, and I'm ready to get into some betting action.
Awesome. Now, before we do get into the main card breakdown, we're just going to have one little brief breakdown of the prelim card. And I just need to ask you, what would be your top pick or even your top or favorite fight for the preliminary card?
Well, for my bettors out there, I'm looking at the Charles Byrd and Maki Pitolo fight. In terms of value, I'm placing a bet that I'd be confident in on the prelims. But if you've looked at the prelims already, you'll see that there is a huge amount of really good fights on this. We're going to see the return of Chase Hooper, young kid up and comer. Ian Heinisch is on here. Cody Stamen, Brian Kelleher, Jussier Formiga. The return of Alonzo Menefield as well, undefeated prospect in the light heavyweight division. And we're also going to see our boy Herbert Burns, who is the brother of Gilbert Burns, who fought last week and beat the crap out of Tyrone Woodley. But picking one of these fights is just so tough. It really is. I think if you're looking for a fight of the night or my favorite fight, it's definitely going to be Cody Stamen versus Brian Kelleher. The line is quite silly, in my opinion, and we were a backer of Brian Kelleher just 3 weeks ago, and this guy is already turning around and taking another fight, which is something to behold, in my opinion. Fair play to him. He's getting it in whilst he can. But in terms of a good bet for the prelims, I'm looking at Charles Byrd and Ian Heinisch, but I'll focus on Charles Byrd because not as many people know about Charles Byrd as they do. Okay, so we got Charles Byrd, and we haven't saw him for a while. This is a problem. This is a problem in handicapping. When we have guys coming off a layoff, it's tough to know where they stand. And he is 36 years old, which could be a problem. But the good things about Charles Byrd is his heart, his determination, and his offensive wrestling. He's a typical wrestling striker. He's quite flat-footed and heavy-handed. He can be out-muscled. He was out-muscled by the English guy, Darren Stewart. He tried himself in the wrestling department, and the stronger guy just got the better of him, and he ended up getting knocked out in that fight. But now he's fighting a guy in Maki Pitolo who, in terms of credibility, other than a former champion of a lower promotion, he hasn't done that much, and there's not much to run home about when we talk about Maki Pitolo. He's moving from welterweight to middleweight, and we saw him do this in his career multiple times. Now, I know the pandemic is causing a lot of weight changes, but this kid, for one, he can be easily taken down. He already had bad cardio, and with these jumps from welterweight to middleweight, that just shows that a fighter's not really sure where he wants to fight or what class he wants to fight at. Now, he took on a guy in Kalen Potter, who was able to take Pitolo down quite easily. And Pitolo looked real depleted heading into that second round against Potter. So, in my opinion, all that Byrd has to do here is wrestle from the start and not get caught with elbows or something stupid like he did in the Darren Stewart fight. Now, even though the number is quite ridiculous for a Charles Byrd who's coming off a 15-month layoff, the skill set should reign supreme, in my opinion. I have to side with the offensive wrestler, like I do more often than not, especially considering how easy it was, as I just mentioned, Potter taking him down. It was nothing to him. So now we've got a guy who's actually better at wrestling. So I can only see this heading one way, and that's Pitolo losing. Now, I expect Bird, if you go and watch Bird's previous fights, he doesn't mess around. He sticks to the game plan. Fortis MMA, they're a good gym. He's going to come out and he's going to wrestle. And I think he can get himself a submission or a ground and pound in this fight. Last time I looked at the line, I think it was about minus 130, but that may have changed now and been juiced up. Or minus what? It might have been minus 150, actually. Don't hold me to that.
No, right now on Bet Online, Charles Bird is minus 183. And Maki Pitolo is plus 158.
Okay, all right. It's been steamed up. I said let's look for a value pick on the undercard, but that's kind of. Sorry, guys. I mean, you can check out my articles. I cover a lot of the undercard there, and I guess if you want a quick one, take a look at Jussier Formiga. If he's still at around plus 120, I truly believe that Formiga should be favored. Perez is a dangerous dude. Alex Perez is a heavy hitter. But I just don't think he's going to be able to deal with Formiga. Formiga was able to handle his previous fights. Even in his losses, he was able to handle them and still show me that he deserves to be in that top 10 in the UFC. Formiga has had the best of this division, and I'll be happy to lay a plus 120 on him. And he's number 3 ranked welterweight still. So, flyweight still. People need to remember that. He isn't no bum. And whilst, Perez does offer the strength advantage and he could knock him out. The BJJ threat comes all from Formiga, really, and I'll take the slickness of Jussier Formiga and that plus. I got plus 125, so I'm not sure what the price is now, but yeah, if you can't get a good one on Bird, then maybe look at Formiga because I'm interested in it as well.
All right. Well, if you guys do want to get in on the Formiga fight on Bet Online, it's Formiga plus 107 and Perez minus 127. So there's that. Now let's just head on over to our main card breakdown, okay? It's going to be a breakdown followed by the pick. So let's start with bantamweight Eddie Wineland versus Sean O'Malley. On Bet Online, we have Eddie Wineland plus 375 and Sean O'Malley minus 500. So it'll be your breakdown and pick for that fight.
Yep, we have got probably one of my favorite fighters on the card. It's Sugar Sean O'Malley. It's the future of the UFC. This kid, he has it all. He trains out of MMA Lab with Benson Henderson and all them boys. Strong wrestlers, strong grapplers, great strikers. And they do really well with youngsters. We've seen in Sage Northcutt, who the UFC stupidly let go to ONE FC. And now we've got Sean O'Malley, the 25-year-old. We lost him for 2 years to a stupid ban on marijuana, but he's back now and he's a serious up-and-comer. It's like he left a boy, and in them 2 years he's come back a man. He's now rocking the beard. He's got the braids in. He's got some more tats. He looks like he's here to put people out, and that's exactly what he did a few weeks ago. Sugar Sean made his return. He finished his fight quickly, and now they're putting him against the Eddie Wineland, who is a true staple of the UFC, but his day has passed. Now, Eddie offers knockout power. Eddie's going to fight until either his opponent is out or he is out. The price on O'Malley is justified. But I have to go inside the distance because Eddie Wineland doesn't go to decision. And Eddie Wineland, I'm sorry, is not winning this fight. The speed, style, and flair of Sugar's game is just something to behold. He's the most exciting fighter that you're probably going to see on this card. And that 2-year layoff just made him better. He looks the part, he plays the part, he's got the striking, speed, defense, and the skills that he was putting on display, they were looking as crisp as ever. The only problem I do have is his confidence while striking at range with the long-legged karate style. He puts his hands down all the time, like because he's so confident. He doesn't think anybody's gonna touch him. But if anybody can touch him, it will be Eddie Wineland because Eddie Wineland's got a bomb to put people out. So, other than that, I mean, this is all Sugar. And he's super close with his coach, Tim Welch, which is always a huge plus for any fighter because they are like best friends. It's not like he's going to the gym and saying, oh, hey, coach, let's do some drills. They train together, they live together, they do podcasts together, they're best friends. So that's always a positive. And then we've got, I think Sean O'Malley has a purple belt, which, is always a plus in itself because Eddie Wineland does have the blue belt. So he has got a certain submission threat. So it's always good to know that you have got them defensive skills in the back pocket. Now, Eddie is a legend of the sport, and I hate to say it, it's just another setup fight, in my opinion. We've got new talent, we've got old talent, we've got a kid who's going to make the UFC a lot of money. We've got a guy who's never going to see the top 5 or a title shot ever again. No disrespect. This is just me being honest. 4 fights in 4 years for Eddie Wineland is also a concern. I mean, he's only 35, but if you've seen him compete for the past 17 years, you'd know that age in terms of MMA damage is probably closer to 45, 50. The guy is a true veteran of the game. It's hard to disrespect Eddie Wineland, and it's all or nothing for him. He needs to win, so he's going to try and knock Sean O'Malley out. He's not waiting for this to go to the scorecards. That's going to leave him open, and I think Sean's going to get the job done. I've got a funny feeling we're going to see Sugar put on a spectacle. And the odds represent exactly what I've just said. So it's a tough spot to try and make some money on this. I was able to get Sean O'Malley inside the distance at -150. I'm not sure where that price is now, but if you can grab that before -200, you've got yourself some value, in my opinion. We're not going to see the judges' scorecards. We're going to see one of my favorite fighters, and he'll probably be your favorite fighter as well if you guys watch him, because it's just a spectacle. So yeah, my first pick will be Sugar Sean O'Malley.
All right, great. So again, if you do want to get on this fight via BetOnline, we have Sean O'Malley -500 and Eddie Wineland +375. So there we go on that. Now let's head on over to our welterweight. We have Neil Magny versus Anthony Rocco Martin. On BetOnline, we have Magny -143 and Martin +123. So can you give me your breakdown and pick for that fight?
Yeah, a clash that I always enjoy seeing. We're going to see Elevation Fight Team versus American Top Team, two of my favorite gyms. And we've got a guy in Neil Magny who, damn, Magny's an impressive dude, and we didn't see him for a while. He came back and he looked better than ever. But he's up against Rocco Martin, who's also been providing fans with some real entertaining wins, and I believe he only has 1 loss in his previous 8. So it's not an easy fight to pick. But as I said, Magny, he looked good in his return, and this was against Li Jingliang as well. It wasn't against no bum. They didn't hand him an easy fight on his return. And that team at Fight Elevation with Justin Gaethje, Drew Dober, Curtis Blades, I got faith in that camp all day to prepare for a fight like this. Now, his takedown defense was on point against Lee. He did give up 1 or 2 takedowns, but he got back to his feet real quick. And he's going to have to avoid that situation when he gets in there with Rocco, because we all know that Anthony Martin has got that BJJ black belt, and he's good at utilizing it as well. Now, 12 Korea decision wins for Magny would point in one direction. There's a good chance we see this fight go over, especially with Rocco Martin. I believe the statistic for Rocco Martin is he hasn't saw round 1 in his previous 13 or so fights. So there's a good bet in itself, because you can bet the fight to start round 2. It will be very juiced. You're probably looking at -400, maybe -300. But see them types of prices, you add them to another, say, Sean O'Malley and Magny Rocco Martin fight to start round 2, you get them very closer to that plus money, to them evens. And when you can come up with parlays, like, they're so solid that I went on a 10-0 run when I started here at SBR. So it just goes to show, if you can get them perfect juices and combine them together, you can get some beautiful plus money. But back to the fight anyway. As much as I love Martin, I just can't ignore what Neil Magny's done. The 2-year layoff, it was rough. His only loss was to Ponzinibbio, who was about to take the UFC by storm until he got injured, and he was undefeated, and he was just storming through guys. So I can't even hold that against Magny. But in that return against Li Jingliang, he looked like a refreshed, prepared fighter who was about to do something in the UFC. He's always been on the fence, Neil Magny. It's hard. He'll win a fight and he'll lose. It'll be very win-lose. But against Rocco, the reach, the size, his jab is beautiful. Go watch Neil Magny's jab in that fight with Lee, and you'll be like, whoa, okay. He has definitely improved on that. His snap jab is incredible. And I believe, we're going to see Magny win his 13th decision victory in this one. I don't think he's going to get the job done inside the distance. His main kryptonite has been the submission, so he needs to stay away from the floor. That's a little worrying. But Yeah, it's Neil Magny for me. Sneaking, it'll be a tight one. I think he'll sneak a decision over Rocco. Um, but yeah, it's Neil Magny with about 50% confidence. It's a real hard fight to predict.
All right. Well, if you do want to get in on that fight via BetOnline, again, Magny is minus 143 and Martin is plus 123. But let's move on to the next fight. We have bantamweight Aljamain Sterling versus Corey Sandhagen. On BetOnline, we have Sandhagen minus 105 and Sterling minus 115. Now your breakdown and pick for that fight.
This is another incredibly tough fight to pick. See, I love Matt Serra and Aljamain Sterling. He's a product of Matt Serra, so I always have to try and separate my personal feelings from winning money. And we've got Aljamain Sterling, who's been a real impressive student for Matt Serra. He really has. And this is a number one contenders elimination fight. Either of these guys could have been in that fight for the championship, the vacant championship. But instead, they've put these two together, and the winner of this two will go on and have their title shot. Now, Longo and Wyman is a serious gym, and Aljo is ranked number 2 for a reason. He has been on fire of recent, reaching his prime. I have no doubt about that. Age 30, this is going to be the best Aljo that we see. And he's had 8 fights in 3 years. The kid is hungry, is eager, he's consistently winning. He defeated the last height prospect, which was Cody Stamen, who is also on this card, by the way. He defeated him by submission, tapped him out, got him out there in the second round. The round 2 was just a complete domination by Aljo. I was actually really impressed. And now he's fighting another up-and-comer in Sandhagen, who is just as dangerous, just as talented, and just as hyped. And I have just as much belief that this kid can take it to the top and be champion one day. He won 5 fights, and then he won 5 fights, and 2 of these fights, since he joined the UFC, two of these fights, one of the fights was against Assuncao, who is also on the card, who is a UFC vet, and the other one was against John Lineker, former title challenger, and one of the heaviest hitters in that division. Now, this kid has beat them where most guys would come in fresh to the UFC. They wouldn't even be handed this level of competition, but they knew what Sandhagen was about. They've passed him this level, and he's took him out. The kid is so fast in and out. The pace that he holds is real high. So his opponent, Aljo, is certainly going to test that for real. And he's never been finished. Multiple titles in kickboxing. And he's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Not that will probably be anything against a Matt Serra student, but, he still has it. It's not the type of fight I want to predict. I'm not going to lie. The line, I don't know where the line is now. Last time I looked, it was basically a pick-on. What's the line now, Lee?
Aljamain Sterling minus 115, Sandhagen minus 105.
Yeah, you see, it's about right. The favourite and dog is just going to be really dictated by the public and where they're going to bet, and everyone's going to be real confused. No one can be confident in this fight. If somebody comes to you and they tell you, "I'm so confident," they're lying to you. Both fighters excel in all areas, and they're a great example of all-around martial artists, and they're both riding high. Sandhagen's 5-0 in the UFC. He's faced some real tough tests already. Oh, it's going to be such a good fight. The scrambles on the floor are going to be insane. The speed is going to be insane. And I really do expect some offensive grappling to take place and submissions from both these guys, because I know they want to test each other out. But I really do think that Sandhagen can test his brown belt against Aljo's black belt, because he's just that type of exciting fighter. But when all is said and done, I think I'd go. I can't pick a side, guys. I'm sorry. I'd have a look at the overs. I think we might see a decision. Both guys are so tough, man. I don't think they're going to get finished. They both need this. This is a number one contender fight. So, yeah, I think I'd lean with an over in this fight and stay away from the sides, because it is what it is. It's a 50-50. So flip a coin. There you go.
All right. Well, if you do want to get in on this fight, again, Sterling is minus 115, Sandhagen is minus 105. If you do want to hit the over on BetOnline, it's over 2.5 minus 200. The under 2.5 is plus 160 if you want to get in on that. But So let's move on to our next fight. And this is a fight that I'm really looking forward to. I know you know, Dave. This is bantamweight Raphael Assuncao versus Cody Garbrandt. On BetOnline, we have Assuncao plus 117 and Garbrandt minus 137. So your breakdown and pick for this fight.
Wow. Yeah, Cody No Love Garbrandt has jinxed his own name. No love was a meaning, it was an analogy of I'm showing no love to these fighters when I get in the cage and I'm going to hurt them. But now it's flip reversed on this guy and it's more of nobody is showing him any love because he has lost 3 fights after becoming the champion and defeating one of the best bantamweights we've ever saw. So now because he's lost 3 fights, everyone's shitting on him. Let's be real. No, not for me. Assuncao's not the guy to take out Garbrandt. Now, he lost his last fight because he acted like a fool at the end of the round. The kid was doing fine. The striking exchanges was fine. Round 1, to be honest, I was leaning him in round 1. And then he decided to mess around with Pedro Munoz in the very last minute of the first round, which made no sense after you're coming off 2 knockout losses. Yeah. They just stood there and swung until somebody got knocked out. And that's why he lost the fight. Not because he was the less skilled fighter or didn't deserve it. He was stupid. And he put himself in a predicament that cost him. Now, 2016, he was riding high, boom. And then TJ Dillashaw appeared and basically ruined his life. Because since that day, juiced up TJ has wrecked him. Now, I think there should be some sort of... There should be something done. And there should be something put in place because... We've got Cody, who's lost to TJ, who's taking drugs. He was on steroids. Now, that's not fair. That is a clear advantage for TJ Dillashaw. So you may as well wipe them losses off, in my opinion. It's easy to discredit him because, look, it seems like his chin's gone. He's only 28 years old. People need to remember we could be seeing a Cody Garbrandt that hasn't even reached his prime. And if that's the case, we could see him take that title again. We can see him take that title again, take a title in a different weight class. The future's ahead of this kid. I can't knock on Cody. But he is fighting a tough dude. But I don't think he's going to make the same mistake. Assuncao's grappling is what he needs to avoid. Doing so will give him the advantage on the feet. He's never lost by decision, and Assuncao only has 4 wins in his career by knockout. Now, that may seem high, but it's not for Assuncao, who has a career fights of 30 plus, I think. So Assuncao's not so much a threat in that KO department as Pedro Munoz was or as TJ Dillashaw was. So we're good there. Now, the only problem for Cody I see is leg kicks. That could be a problem if he doesn't check them because he was not checking them against Munoz, and I don't know why. When you get kicked in the leg, it should hurt so much that you know to check that the next time they're about to throw it. But it is what it is. Cody Garbrandt, I feel, is going to win this by decision, strike his way to a decision, or maybe even get himself a knockout. But I can't put that confidence in him just yet because we do need to see how he is. And mentality is huge in this sport. So I just hope that he's been able to fix his mental and be at peace with losing, the championship, and understand that the world's at his feet because he's a real good looking dude. And if you combine that with talented skills, you can be in a high place in this business, that's for sure.
Yep. So again, if you do want to get in on this fight on BetOnline, we have Cody Garbrandt minus 137 and Raphael Assuncao plus 117. Now, we're going to head over to the main event. Women's featherweight title, we have the champion Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer. On BetOnline, where are they? Amanda Nunes, a lot of juice, minus 625. And Felicia Spencer plus 450. I know last week Nunes was 550. So now she's minus 625. So give me your breakdown and pick for that fight.
And to add to that, she opened at minus 400. Yeah. So everything we're seeing now, guys, that's all public. And there's a heavy movement. There's 2 reasons why there's a heavy movement. One of 2 reasons, should I say. Either somebody has gone in and slapped $500,000 on Nunes and made them bookies move that line, or everybody is piling on Nunes. I'll go with the latter. Everybody's piling on Nunes. That's what it is. And for good reason. We've got a girl who has 10 fights. No disrespect to Spencer. She's a big, heavy girl. And if you want a full breakdown, by the way, guys, I'm not going to go into too much detail because we already covered this. If you go check our video from earlier on this week, we did a whole video on Amanda and Felicia. But just to keep it short and sweet, as everyone will see this as a striker versus grappler matchup, Nunes needs to knock her out, Spencer needs to tap her out, but that's not the case. Amanda Nunes is good anywhere. If Spencer makes a silly mistake, Amanda could lock up. I have no problem in envisioning Amanda locking up a guillotine or taking her down and submitting her the same way that she could submit her. So yeah, I don't take too much into that. I think this is a all-round champion who is the best at the females divisions have ever saw versus a grappler, in my opinion. If that makes it easy for you guys, it's Amanda Nunes or nothing for me.
Yeah.
I know certain people, they love to take these dogs every time because they just want to be that person that goes against the champ and cashes that ticket. So they'll be giving out Spencer for a laugh, knowing full well that 9 times out of 10 she is losing that fight. That's why the odds are there. It's Amanda Nunes. It's a lioness. She does what she does. She hurts people. She puts them out. She wasn't able to do it against GDR because GDR is a high-level technical striker. And she can... When you're a high-level technical striker, you're going to see these things coming. But when you're a grappler and you're focused on taking this fight to the ground and submitting somebody, them strikes might not be seen as well. And Nunes is going to have a speed advantage on Spencer. Spencer was slow against Cyborg. We watched Cyborg outspeed that girl, and then we watched Nunes outspeed Cyborg and knock her out.
Yep.
I say it every week. I hate MMA math, but this one's quite obvious. It's Amanda Nunes or nothing for me. I don't have a personal bet as of yet. I haven't checked the inside the distance prop. I don't think Spencer is going to be able to breathe for 5 rounds, let alone fight for 5 rounds. Yeah. So, against Amanda anyway. I like Amanda inside the distance right now, but it's all dependent on the price I get. Most people are going to be parlaying this up. Let's be honest. Nobody's going to be paying up for a minus 600 to pick up a couple of bucks or 20 bucks or something ridiculous. So yeah, this is a perfect parlay piece. And if you're looking for someone to put that with, I'm really high on Alonzo Menafield, undefeated light heavyweight prospect. I think we might see a round 1 finish from Menafield as a little addition for our show this week.
All right. Well, if you do want to get in on the main event, again, we have Amanda Nunes minus 625 and Felicia Spencer plus 450. And that's it for our breakdown. Thank you so much, Dave, for your time and dropping some knowledge like always. If you aren't following Dave on Twitter, definitely give him a follow at DaveManyun_. And like he mentioned before, if you want to get a more in-depth breakdown on the main event, Nunes versus Spencer, head on over to SBR's YouTube page at SBR Sports and check out our first look video regarding Nunes versus Spencer. And also, if you're not following SBR on Twitter, give us a follow at SBR Sports Picks, as well as on Instagram at SBR Sports Picks. So again, thank you so much for your time, Dave, and until next time.